Yo, what's going on, guys? Who Day All Day, back with another video. So today we're doing another NFL mock draft. The season did officially just end last night. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers did beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady did it once again. 7 rings now for the GOAT. So the season is officially over. Free agency will be starting soon. We've had really only one big trade, or one trade in total. It was the Matthew Stafford trade to the Rams, Jared Goff to the Lions. We don't know what Deshaun Watson's going to do. Maybe Sam Darnold gets traded. Carson Wentz is probably going to get traded in the near future. So we'll see how that stuff kind of pans out. But this will be the first official mock draft of the season being over. So these are where the teams are going to be picking for this upcoming draft unless they trade up or down on draft night. So getting straight into the video, Jacksonville Jaguars, first overall pick. It's got to be Trevor Lawrence here. He actually is going to be throwing a little bit sooner than his pro day because he's getting shoulder surgery, but it's on his non-throwing arm, and it's not like a crazy surgery. It's something with like a kink in his shoulder that they want to get fixed up before the season started, and it is his non-throwing shoulder, so not that big of a deal, not a big deal at all. Urban Meyer coaching Jacksonville now. They're going to take Trevor Lawrence. This is basically the only for sure pick in the entire draft. Trevor Lawrence is going to go number 1. Next, with the second pick for the New York Jets, I have them grabbing Zach Wilson. There's reports that Sam Darnold can go for like a mid to late second round pick. I think that's completely fine. Trade away Sam Darnold, draft Zach Wilson with your second overall pick. Put some pieces around Zach. You hired a new head coach in Robert Saleh. You have a new offensive coordinator. Trade your quarterback away. Get some draft capital. Build around Zach Wilson. And I think that's a very good plan for the New York Jets. The Miami Dolphins here at the third pick. They need a receiver. Nothing else to it. I've been saying this forever. People have been saying this forever. Go get Tua some help with the receiving core. I have them grabbing Devontae Smith, but I can see them grabbing Jamar Chase and or Jalen Waddle. They're all neck and neck in my book. Just grab a receiver, help Tua out, because Devontae Parker cannot be the only receiver in that system, or they're going to continue to struggle in the passing game like they did this past year when Tua was in there. Go grab Devontae Smith. Go grab a playmaker. Pair him back up with Tua like they were in college. It'll be a pretty good pick for them. Like I said, I can see them grabbing any receiver here in those top 3 with Waddle, Chase, and Smith. I think any 3 of those picks would be awesome. Just grab receiver. Receiver needs to be your first pick. I could see you drafting Penei Sewell here, and that wouldn't be horrible. But go get yourself a receiver. That's the best plan for you guys. Next for the Atlanta Falcons, I had them grabbing Trey Lance out of North Dakota State. I don't want to say Trey Lance has a higher ceiling than Trevor Lawrence, but in my opinion, he has the second highest ceiling in this entire draft, just behind Trevor Lawrence. He's got crazy arm talent. He's got crazy athletic upside. He's the most athletic quarterback in this class, more athletic than Zach Wilson, more athletic than Justin Fields. He's got crazy arm talent. It comes with the inexperience of not playing at a very big college, only having 1 year as a starter, and they didn't even play this year. So his 1 year of tape is from 2019. So he's going to need a little bit of time to sit for a year or two, and that's perfect. Sit behind Matt Ryan, who's a seasoned veteran who can teach you a lot. And like I said, this kid has a very, very high ceiling. Sit behind Matt Ryan, and like I said, I can even see him being better than Trevor Lawrence. That's how high this kid's ceiling is, but he is going to need to sit a year or two. Next for the Cincinnati Bengals, we got to get Penei Sewell. If Penei Sewell is sitting here, that's the biggest issue with our team right now is our offensive line. We have issues all over, of course. You don't only win 3 games because of one issue on the offensive line, but that is the most important position. Problem for the Bengals right now. You even see last night with the Chiefs. That defensive line for the Buccaneers was all over Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs offense struggled. You can see you can have the best quarterback in the NFL, arguably the best quarterback in the NFL, arguably the most talented quarterback in the NFL, probably is. Can't do anything when they don't have time. It's not fair. Go draft yourself an offensive line for the Bengals. Go protect Joe Burrow. Draft Penei Sewell. Next for the Eagles, go get yourself Jamar Chase. Go get yourself another receiver. Rumors they're going to trade Carson Wentz, so we'll see what happens with that. They'll probably get a first-round pick for Carson Wentz. I don't think they'll get 2 like Stafford. We'll see what they get. I'm interested to see what that situation, what team he goes to, and what picks they have to offer. But I can see him going for like a late first-round pick and have 2 first-round pick for the Eagles, address receiver. You have Rieger, have him get another year of experience, have him come on this year, pair him up with Jamar Chase. I guess Hurts is going to be taking over the helm, so you have Hurts. Miles Sanders is a solid running back. You kind of need help on the offensive line, but they had some injuries, so bring those guys back. Maybe draft one with your second first-round pick if you get another first-round pick for Carson Wentz, or address that in the second or third round. There's some pretty decent tackle and guards the first couple rounds. Draft yourself a receiver in Jamar Chase. Help your offense. Next, the Lions, new quarterback. Not Matthew Stafford anymore for the first time in, a decade? A little bit over a decade. Jared Goff is now the quarterback for the Lions. Go draft Jalen Waddle. There's a report that, we don't know how true these things are. It's crazy that there's reports on this player wants to stay here, this player wants to leave. But Kenny Golladay was reported like $16 million they wanted to give him, and he declined it. So there's a good chance he's gone in free agency. Marvin Jones is also a free agent. There's a report that he wants to go to the Rams and get paired back up with Matt Stafford. So say both of them leave, you have 0 receiving core. Like, you will have the worst receiving core in the entire NFL unless you bring in people in free agency. Going into the draft, if they lose both those pieces, they will have the worst receiving core in the entire NFL with Jared Goff. Go grab yourself Jalen Waddle. Help your receiving core out. Next, for the Carolina Panthers, I have them grabbing Justin Fields. I can even see Justin Fields sitting a year behind Teddy Bridgewater, which I do think that'll be good for Fields. This year, he struggled a little bit this year. Wasn't like horrible, but he didn't play very, very well this year. He's still 100% a top 15 pick. Go sit behind Teddy Bridgewater a year. Teddy Bridgewater is definitely not the answer in Carolina, but he's an okay bridge quarterback for what they're trying to do right now. Go draft Justin Fields. Have a training camp battle, maybe have him sit half the season like Tua, sit a couple games, see what they decide to do with that, but draft Justin Fields. He's your quarterback of the future. Next, for the Broncos, I have them grabbing Micah Parsons. We don't know what's going on with Von Miller. He's got like some kind of case right now, and he's getting a little bit up there in age. He had ankle surgery. Micah Parsons is a linebacker, but he's an outside linebacker, good for like that 3-4 scheme. He could honestly just play as an edge rusher. Like, he said that he kind of views himself as an edge anyway, so he can come strictly off the edge. He can play the outside linebacker position and come off the edge, or sometimes drop into coverage. They just they need to get younger at that position. Like I said, they have an aging Von Miller. Get younger at the position. Go get a stud in Micah Parsons. Next, for the Cowboys, I have them grabbing Patrick Surtain. Their secondary is atrocious. That's all it is to it. Go grab the best corner in this class, Patrick Surtain. It's that simple. You know what your offense can do. There's a report that they're going to tag another franchise tag for Dak Prescott after the injury. Still not giving him a contract, which is, I don't know what they're doing, but they're not giving him a contract, so they're probably going to franchise tag him again. You know what that offense can do. It can virtually score on any play, any drive. Go grab some defensive help. Go grab Patrick Surtain. Next, for the Giants, I have them grabbing Kwity Paye because they have like 12 defensive linemen that are all like starting caliber interior defensive linemen, and they don't really have the best edge presence. Leonard Williams is a free agent. Don't let him walk. Please bring him back. Give him a huge contract. He's going to be worth every penny of it. Go draft some kind of edge presence. Go grab Kwity Paye because, like I said, they have a great interior defensive line. They have solid corners in Bradbury and Ryan. Jabril at that strong safety position. Go grab an edge rusher in Kwity Paye. Next, for the 49ers, have them grabbing Rashawn Slater. Some people have Rashawn Slater jumping Penei Sewell. I don't see how anyone can say that. They both didn't play this year. Penei Sewell was the clear-cut like number 1 this time last year. Like, the season ended, preparing for draft, like the way too early mock drafts. Penei Sewell was 1 on everyone's list. Penei Sewell opts out, and Rashawn Slater opts out, but Rashawn Slater somehow is jumping him. If Rashawn Slater had tape this year and played, I could see that. But they both can't opt out, and he jumps Penei. So, like I said, I have him going to the 49ers. They need offensive line help, not everywhere, but they could like. Trent Williams as their left tackle could be gone in free agency. They could put him at left tackle. They could put him inside. Could put him at either guard position or center. So they don't like need overall offensive line help, but they're going to be missing 1 or 2 pieces. And Slater can play virtually any offensive line position from tackle, guard, all the way down to center. Draft him, put him where you need him, and he'll play pretty good for you. Next, for the Chargers, Christian Darrisaw. They need a tackle. They probably even need guards because their offensive line is horrible. Just like the Bengals, you got to protect your young quarterback. You have to protect your offensive rookie of the year, Justin Herbert, the future of your franchise. Grab an offensive line help. Grab Christian Darrisaw, help Herbert. Next for the Minnesota Vikings, I have them grabbing Sam Cosmi out of Texas, another offensive lineman. He even has guard flexibility. Boy's a big boy. He's like 6'7", but he can even play inside. He can play guard a little bit. Definitely can't play center, but guard flexibility is the draft report on him. But he is a tackle. Vikings need it, especially as much as they use Dalvin Cook and how much they run the ball and how effective they are at running the ball and getting Kirk Cousins in the play action and the bootleg and all that stuff. You're going to need to help with the offensive line. Grab Samuel Cosmi. Next for the New England Patriots, I've had this pick in almost all my mock drafts. Go get Kyle Pitts. I could even see Kyle Pitts going a lot sooner than this. He's that special of a player. It's just the tight end position isn't too valuable in the NFL. I mean, it can be. I mean, look at Kelsey. Even Kelsey last night, the Chiefs' offense wasn't really doing anything, but the one piece who was doing anything was Travis Kelsey, per usual. He averages like 80 yards a game consistently. It's insane. But Patriots, you need some kind of receiver or tight end, and there's no receiver. I mean, there is receivers you can take this early, but I think Kyle Pitts better than any other receiver you can take right now. Grab Kyle Pitts. We don't know who your quarterback's going to be next year, if it's going to be Cam Newton, if you're going to draft someone, if Stidham is pretty bad, but we'll see who you guys take. You need some kind of receiver, some kind of tight end. You just need another offensive weapon. Grab Kyle Pitts. Next for the Cardinals, Caleb Farley. Report literally like 25 minutes ago. Patrick Peterson and the Cardinals are most likely parting ways this offseason. You're going to need another corner. You have Byron Murphy playing like the nickel corner. Pretty solid. Budda Baker back there playing safety. You need another receiver. Caleb Farley is a little bit more of kind of like a project corner because he didn't really play this year. He had a position change, but his athletic upside is off the charts. That's basically what he is right now, is just an athletic freak because he doesn't have too much film out there. He did opt out. He changed positions. He's kind of been all over the place, but if he can get in that system and get acclimated to the NFL level, I don't know if he's going to make too much an impact his rookie year, but a year or two in, once he starts to develop as an NFL quarterback and that athletic ability can just take over, Caleb Farley is going to be a very, very good corner in this league for a long time. Next for the Raiders, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I think I said that right this time. Great linebacker. They need help all over the place. I've said it once and I'll say it again. They spend these first-round picks on these defensive players and they don't really work out. Clelin Ferrell. They shouldn't have taken Damian Arnett where they took him. And I'm an Ohio State fan. I don't know why they took him where they took him. Abram. 2 years ago, he didn't play his rookie year. He's all right, and they still seem to just not be able to play any type of defense whatsoever. And I like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah because he can kind of play all over the place. He can play he's a linebacker, but he has tape at strong safety. He's a little bit light for a linebacker, so like I said, he can kind of move all over the place, which they need versatility. They can kind of move him all over the place, and they'll see what they do with him. I think that'll be a good pick for them. Next for the Miami Dolphins, go grab Najee Harris. Grab back-to-back Alabama players with your Alabama quarterback. You're going to have Tua Tagovailoa, Devontae Smith, and now Najee Harris. It's going to be deadly. We'll see if Tua has those weapons. And I don't think they've hired a new offensive coordinator yet. I know they let go their offensive coordinator. He quit or something like that. I think it was like mutual. I don't know if they've hired a new offensive coordinator yet. If they have, I don't know his name, but you're going to have these pieces, and you mean we're still hoping Tua's a good quarterback, and now you have Najee Harris and you have Devontae Smith. That'd be a pretty disgusting offense if you ask me. Next, with the 19th overall pick, Washington, I have them grabbing Mac Jones here. Mac Jones had a very impressive Senior Bowl. He wasn't playing lights out, but he proved what he needed to prove, that he's a top 5 quarterback in this class, and that was kind of the issue. We knew one was Trevor, and then 2, 3, 4 was a little bit shaky with Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Trey Lance. Kyle Trask kind of separated himself from that conversation, but kind of like that top 4, top 5. Mac Jones has definitely solidified himself in that group as he's most likely going to be a late first-round pick, mid to late first-round pick. I don't see him falling to the second, and if he does, he will be a top second-round pick. Mac Jones is a good quarterback. Doesn't do anything necessarily special. His arm talent isn't amazing. He's got good pocket presence, got a good accuracy. Like I said, he's not this special, crazy prospect like these last other guys. Mac Jones is a good quarterback. Like I said, he definitely proved that he belongs in the Senior Bowl. Go to Washington, maybe even sit a year behind Alex Smith. We don't know what they're doing with them. They could cut him and save some money, or he might even retire. So we'll see what they do. He just did one Comeback Player of the Year award, which is awesome, what he went through with that injury. But maybe he sits a couple games behind him. Mac Jones takes a little bit of time to develop, but Mac Jones would be a good quarterback for Washington, especially with that great defense. Next, for the Chicago Bears, this could be a trade destination for Carson Wentz. So maybe if Carson Wentz goes there, Allen Robinson stays, because Allen Robinson is most likely gone in free agency. I have them grabbing Rashad Bateman because I'm thinking that Allen Robinson might be gone. But hey, Carson Wentz goes there. Maybe Allen Robinson wants to stay in Chicago. Maybe they don't need to grab Rashad Bateman. You're going to have Moody coming on. Anthony Miller's not bad. So maybe they really won't need a receiver if maybe they trade for Wentz and Allen Robinson stays and he signs. Maybe they don't need Rashad Bateman, but I'm predicting he leaves. I had them grabbing Rashad Bateman. Like I said, there's not going to be like that clear-cut number one, and I'm not saying he's going to be their best receiver and their number one their first year, but they're going to need someone to try to replace Allen Robinson or have another piece in there for Allen Robinson. If you're the Bears, go grab Rashad Bateman. Next, for the Colts, I have them grabbing a corner in J.C. Horn. Their defense played amazing this year. It really, really, really came on. Honestly, if Phillip Rivers didn't play atrocious this year, but if they had a real quarterback, they're easily Super Bowl contenders. I have them grabbing another corner, though, because there's no quarterback you can really take at this point. Maybe get one in free agency, the trade for one. I could have seen Matthew Stafford going to them, but he was already traded to the Rams. So maybe trade for a quarterback, draft one. They have Easton, so Easton could be decent after sitting a full year behind Brissett and Rivers. I mean, those are two guys who've been in the NFL for a little bit. He probably picked up a lot, but you have Xavier Rhodes, who's older, and your linebacker play is great, but go grab J.C. Horn for another corner and help out that defense even more, and they're going to be one of the best defenses in the NFL back-to-back years. Next, for the Titans, I have them going Gregory Rousseau. They can't find an edge presence to save their lives. They tried to bring in Jadeveon Clowney, didn't work. Tried to bring in Vic Beasley, didn't work. They just need some kind of edge presence because that's their biggest thing. Their offense did get shut down against the Ravens. They couldn't get Derrick Henry going, and then Ryan Tannehill went out. The run game isn't the greatest. He's not trash, but he relies on that run game a little bit, and they couldn't get that going. He couldn't stop anyone, so you have to grab an outside presence here in Gregory Rousseau and rush the quarterback. Next, for the Jets. I have them grabbing Zach Wilson. Go grab Zach Wilson some help at the receiving core. Go grab Terrence Marshall Jr. out of LSU. It was tough because he never really had too much of an opportunity to shine, sitting behind two of the best receivers we've seen in the last couple years in college football, in Justin Jefferson, who was setting rookie records in the NFL, and Jamar Chase, who had one of the best wide receiver seasons we've seen in a long time. But even this year, without Joe Burrow and spotty quarterback play from LSU, Terrence Marshall still did play pretty solid before he did opt out. So Terrence Marshall's a good wide receiver. Pair him up with Zach Wilson. Two new fresh faces for that offense. Be pretty solid for you. Next, for the Steelers, I have them grabbing Jalen Mayfield out of Michigan. Jalen Mayfield, I like Jalen Mayfield because he has that athletic upside, but he doesn't have too much tape. He hasn't started too many games. I think he's only started 1 year or 2 years as a starter, but he's missed games because of injury. He only has like 13 or 14 starts, which isn't a lot. From high school, 13 starts, NFL, that's not very good, but he did play good in those starts, so I have them going to the Steelers, who need a left tackle. Villanueva's probably gone, so just help your offensive line. Big Ben's probably their quarterback next year. They take a big cap hit if they take him, but I see Big Ben being their quarterback in 2021, so grab Jalen Mayfield, protect him. Next, for the Jaguars, I have them grabbing Liam Eichenberg out of Notre Dame, tackle. You probably have Cam Robinson leaving in free agency. He's their left tackle right now. If you're going to draft Trevor Lawrence, Get that left tackle in there, Liam Eichenberg. Like I said, if Cam Robinson's going to be gone, you're going to want to protect your quarterback. You could go a receiver here, but I didn't go receiver here. Just I think that offensive line. Now, they have a F-ton of cap space, like a crazy amount of cap space. They have like $70 million. You can go and get a receiver. You can go and get a crazy edge rusher. You can go and get pieces all over the place. So say you want to go get Allen Robinson, Kenny Golladay, Will Fuller, Chris Godwin. You can afford any single one of those guys. You can go get an edge rusher. You can go get a big name who we saw ball out yesterday in Shaquille Barrett. You have so much cap space to do so much with this team. I have them grabbing a tackle here. Go grab skill positions in free agency, or do the opposite. Go grab proven tackles in free agency, and then grab receivers in the draft. They can do so much in this offseason with a young Trevor Lawrence. I'm very interested to see what this Jacksonville offseason is going to be like, because they have $70 million in cap space, and that's a lot of money. Next for the Browns, I have them grabbing Xavier Collins, linebacker. I could see him going a corner here, because that's another one of their big issues is corner. But linebacker is one of their issues too. Their offense played very well this year. Their offensive line was crazy good this year. They have probably the best running back tandem in the NFL, or like a top 3 running back tandem. Receivers, a little bit of an issue. We'll see what... I think Odell Beckham's under contract, but I think there's like reports that he probably won't be back next year if they're going to trade him or cut him, or I don't know what their situation is with Odell, but the receiving corps could use a little bit of work on their offensive side, but other than that, their offense is pretty fine. Defensive line, I mean, Myles Garrett, you could use like an interior or another edge rush on the other side, but Myles Garrett is going to get you 10 sacks a year. If Myles Garrett stays healthy, he's a 10-sack-a-year guy for at least the next 4 or 5 years. So you're good on that part. Could use another corner, but I had them going Xavier Collins, help out the linebacking core. Next for the Ravens, I had them grabbing Joseph Osai out of Texas. He's like that 3-4 outside linebacker, edge presence. You have Judon playing there right now. If you want to pay Judon, you could pay him. I think you let him go in free agency. Bring in a younger version who you pay not even a fraction of what you have to pay Judon. Bring in Joseph Osai. I feel like their defense is always good. Like every year, even last year, like their defense was good, and then they got the linebacker from LSU. I can't think of his name. Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen from LSU. It's like they grab another middle linebacker, another linebacker who's like this stud. It's like they just keep upgrading on their defense, and I think they continue to do that here. Get a younger version, 3-4 outside linebacker coming off the edge, Joseph Osai. Next for the Saints, Nick Bolton. They did just restructure Drew Brees' contract to save them a lot of money, because they have negative $100 million. If you guys aren't familiar with their cap space, they're broke beyond broke. So, they're broke beyond broke. But the linebacker is one of their issues. They probably should cut Quan Alexander. I think one of their other linebackers they should probably cut too. There's a bunch of players they need to restructure, a bunch of players they need to cut. And I know Quan Alexander is one of the players they probably should cut. He's coming off a torn Achilles late in the season, and he is costing money. Cut him, bring in Nick Bolton as a linebacker. It's a pretty solid pick for them. Next for the Green Bay Packers, I have them grabbing Kadarius Toney out of Florida. Davante Adams is really the only receiver in that offense. MVS is the most inconsistent receiver in the entire NFL. And who's their other receiver? The dude, he's like 6'5". Allen Lazard, he's all right. Go grab another receiver who they've needed for a long, long time. They could address defense here, especially that defensive line or the linebacking core, because they can't stop the run to save anything. And they should probably get a corner because Kevin King's trash. But grab Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney, we'll see what they do with Aaron Jones. But A.J. Dillon's fine. Aaron Rodgers just won MVP. We know how good Tay Adams is. Now you're bringing Kadarius Toney. It could be another MVP season for Aaron Rodgers. That offense is going to continue to be scary. Next for the Buffalo Bills, I have been grabbing Asante Samuel Jr. out of Florida State, cornerback. Josh Norman is 34, 35, free agent. You're not bringing him back. There's no point of bringing back a 34-year-old Josh Norman. Go grab Asante Samuel Jr. What was their problem against the Bills? They really couldn't move the ball. I mean, not the Bills, against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. They really couldn't move the ball. They couldn't stop Mahomes. could use a little bit of an upgrade as an offensive line. Their running back situation's not the best. Zach Moss didn't play amazing this year, but grab Asante Samuel Jr., help out that defense, help out that secondary, help out the team. Now, the 31 pick, it is the Chiefs now. Like I said, these picks are final. I have them grabbing Alijah Vera-Tucker, especially after what I saw last night. After Mahomes got pressured the most in like NFL history in a Super Bowl game, he was pressured on like 48% of his snaps. Like, that is insane. Like I was saying earlier, it doesn't matter how good your quarterback is if he doesn't have time to throw the ball. Like, Mahomes was running for his life on damn near every single play. Go grab Alijah Vera-Tucker. They need help on that offensive line big time. It wasn't too much of a blaring issue, but I understand both their tackles got hurt, but they went towards Achilles, so we're probably not even going to be ready for next year. So these aren't like tiny injuries. Like I say, towards Achilles was their starting left tackle. Towards Achilles, he'll probably miss some of next season. You need to upgrade on that offensive line. Go grab Alijah Vera-Tucker. And next for the last pick of this draft, the last pick of the first round, Buccaneers. I have them grabbing Christian Barmore out of Alabama. If they get Christian Barmore, they have to bring back Shaq Barrett, so we'll see if they do that. If they bring back Shaq Barrett, put in Christian Barmore, you have a healthy Vita Vea. JPP can still come off that 3-4 on the other side of the edge. That defensive lines continue to be scary. Antoine Winfield was playing great this year. James Dean was playing solid. Carlton Davis was playing good. Their linebackers are crazy. Levante David is so underrated. Devin White is so good. This is his second year this year, and he's already a top linebacker. That defense is really good. We know with all those receivers, Chris Godwin's a free agent. We'll see if they bring back AB. We'll see what they do with this team, but you know you're having Tom next year. If you grab Christian Barmore, bring back Chris Godwin, back-to-back Super Bowl champs. So yeah, thanks for watching my picks 1 through 32. I'm going to be making I have it right here that I printed out. I do it on Microsoft Word, and I print out all my stuff, my personal picks. So I have round 2 coming out soon. So please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching the video. Please comment if you have a problem with any of my picks. If you like what your team picked, if you wanted to see your team go in a different direction, a different position, let me know down in the comments. And thank you for watching. Go Bengals, go Buckeyes. Peace.